You are bleeding out invisibly, and the worst part is, she does not even care. The very fact that you are obsessing over her memory right now is exactly why she lost respect for you in the first place. You have been reduced to a spectator in your own life, watching someone else walk away with your dignity. But there is a hidden psychological switch, a specific biological override that I am going to reveal at the very end of this video that flips the dynamic completely and permanently makes you the phantom that she can never escape. But here is where most men completely ruin their chances. They try to negotiate genuine desire. You cannot negotiate attraction, and you cannot talk a woman into respecting you once she has seen you beg. You are suffering from dopamine withdrawal. Your brain is treating this breakup exactly like a drug addict coming off heavy narcotics. Every time you check her social media, you are taking a hit of a drug that is actively destroying your masculine frame. And this brings us to the harsh reality nobody wants to admit. You did not love her as much as you loved the illusion of who you thought she was. You projected your own highest ideals onto a normal human being, and now you are mourning the death of a fantasy. The woman you are crying over does not exist. She never existed. But the truth goes even deeper than that. Most guys get stuck in the illusion of closure. You think if you just have one more conversation, if you just send one more long paragraph explaining your feelings, she will finally understand. Listen to me very closely. Her absence is your closure. Her walking away is the only answer you will ever need. But this is exactly why you are failing the test of life. The universe removes people from your life because they are in the way of the man you are supposed to become. Right now, you are a block of raw marble, and pain is the chisel. You are feeling the agony of pieces of your weak self being smashed away. Do not run from the chisel. And here is the secret to true masculine alchemy. You take that agonizing, burning sensation in your chest and you weaponize it. You do not drink it away. You do not smoke it away. You do not distract yourself with video games or mindless entertainment. You harness that dark energy and you pour it into building an empire. You take it to the gym and you tear muscle fibers until the physical pain overrides the mental anguish. But the problem is, society wants you to be weak. Society tells you to cry it out, to be vulnerable, to talk about your feelings until you have completely drained yourself of all vital force. Do not listen to that trap. The modern world hates a dangerous, capable man, and by wallowing in your sadness, you are playing right into the hands of a system that wants you docile and obedient. But let us look at the actual biology of what is happening. When you elevate your heart rate through extreme physical exertion, you burn off the cortisol that is keeping you in a state of panic. You literally sweat out the stress hormones that she caused. You rebuild your neurochemistry from the ground up. And this is where the average guy gives up. He goes to the gym for a week, does not see immediate results, and goes right back to staring at his ceiling. Consistency in the face of absolute despair is the defining trait of an emperor. You must become a machine, a cold, calculating engine of self-improvement. You wake up early when the world is dark, not because you are motivated, but because you are disciplined. Motivation is a myth sold to weak men. Discipline is the only currency that matters in the realm of high value, and this is the part that changes the trajectory of your entire bloodline. When you focus entirely on your mission, your finances, your physique, your intellect, you begin to emit a completely different frequency. Women are hyper-tuned to the frequency of a man's purpose. When your purpose becomes greater than your desire for female validation, you suddenly become the most magnetic force in the room. But I need you to understand something critical here. You are not doing this to get her back. If you are lifting weights hoping she will see your pictures, you are still her slave. You are still operating in her frame. You must kill the hope of reconciliation. Hope is the poison that is keeping you sick. You must accept that the bridge is burned, and then you must build a castle on your side of the river. But look at what happens when you actually do this. 6 months from now, you are stronger, sharper, richer, and completely indifferent to her existence. That is the exact moment she will try to come back. That is the universal law of female nature. The moment you genuinely no longer care, they can sense the disturbance in the energy field. They will send a random text. They will like an old photo. They will find an excuse to orbit your life. And this is the trap that catches 99% of men. They let her back in, and she immediately loses respect for them again because she realizes they were just pretending to be strong. You will not make that mistake because by the time she reaches out, you will look at her and feel absolutely nothing. You will see a normal person, a stranger, someone who no longer holds any power over your emotional state. But the deeper psychological game is what we must master next. You must understand that your identity was entirely enmeshed with hers. You forgot who you were before you met her. You compromised your boundaries, your hobbies, your friends, just to keep the peace. You shrunk yourself so she could feel big. And that is why she left. Women do not want a man who shrinks. They want a mountain they can climb. They want a force of nature that cannot be moved by their emotional storms. And here is where we bridge the gap between theory and execution. Tomorrow morning, you are going to write down every single compromise you made in that relationship. Every friend you stopped seeing, every passion you abandoned, every standard you lowered. And you are going to violently reclaim them. You are going to apologize to the men you abandoned for her. You are going to pick up the heavy things you stopped lifting. You are going to read the books that expand your mind. You are going to become a scholar of your own potential. But there is a dark side to this that you must navigate. The anger will come. There will be nights where the rage feels like it is going to consume you. The betrayal, the lies, the realization that you were easily replaced. Do not suppress the anger. Anger is a gift. Anger is high-octane fuel, but it must be directed. Uncontrolled anger makes you a fool. Focused anger makes you a conqueror. Channel every ounce of that rage into your work. Let it keep you awake when your competitors are sleeping. Let it push you to do 5 more reps when your muscles are screaming. Let the phantom of her betrayal be the ghost that haunts your weakness. And this leads to the ultimate realization of your masculine journey. You are not meant to be comfortable. The modern man is drowning in comfort, soft beds, fast food, easy dopamine. You must intentionally seek discomfort. Take freezing cold showers to shock your nervous system. Fast for 24 hours to prove to your primal brain that you are in control of your appetites. When you conquer your internal environment, the external world has no choice but to submit to your will. But the truly elite men understand this next concept. Silence is your greatest weapon. You do not announce your comeback. You do not post motivational quotes on your stories. You do not try to prove to the internet that you are healing. You go completely dark. You vanish. You let the mystery of your absence torture anyone who doubted you. People fear what they cannot see. When you disappear into the shadows and focus entirely on your grind, you become a mythical figure in her mind. She will wonder what happened to you. She will wonder if you finally broke. And while she is wondering, you are building. Do not immediately jump onto dating apps to find a replacement. That is the behavior of a coward who cannot sit alone in a room with his own thoughts. Rebounds are just emotional painkillers. They mask the symptom, but they do not cure the disease. If you jump into another woman's arms right now, you are bringing your broken, bleeding energy into her life. You are a liability. Instead, you must enter total monk mode. Monk mode is the absolute rejection of external validation. It is a period of forced solitude where the only voice you listen to is your own. You cut out the junk food, you cut out the alcohol, you cut out the meaningless socializing. You become a ghost to the world so you can become a god to yourself. And this is exactly why you need a physical outlet that simulates combat. Martial arts, boxing, physical trials. You need to be humbled physically to heal mentally. When you are fighting for air, struggling to survive extreme physical pressure, your brain does not have the bandwidth to worry about a text message she did not reply to. You learn the visceral difference between imaginary emotional pain and real physical danger. This recalibrates your entire nervous system. It makes you stoic. It makes you dangerous. And a dangerous man who has his violence under control is the pinnacle of human evolution. But let us talk about the financial aspect, because money is a magnifier of who you are. Right now, you are broke spiritually, and if you are broke financially, you have a mountain to climb. Use this dark energy to fuel your economic engine. Start a business, learn a high-income skill, work relentlessly. Why? Because exhaustion is your best friend right now. You want to work so hard that when your head hits the pillow, you black out. No time for overthinking, no time for nostalgia, just pure, unadulterated execution. And this brings us to a truth that sounds incredibly harsh, but will save your life. You are not special. Your heartbreak is not unique. Millions of men have felt exactly what you are feeling right now, and millions of men have either let it destroy them or used it to build a fortress. You are simply at the crossroads. The pain is a standardized test, and you are currently failing. But the beautiful thing about this test is that you can retake it every single morning. The sun comes up, and you get another chance to choose violence against your own weakness. You get another chance to lay a brick. And it is those micro decisions that compound over time. The decision to drink water instead of liquor. The decision to read 10 pages instead of scrolling for an hour. The decision to do 100 push-ups instead of hitting snooze. These seem trivial, but they are the atoms that build the universe of your new identity. And this is where the transformation becomes irreversible. You start to fall in love with the process. You stop doing it to escape the pain, and you start doing it because you love the power. You look in the mirror and you see the physical changes. You check your accounts and you see the financial changes. You observe your reactions and you see the emotional changes. You realize that you have become the architect of your own reality. And the memory of her, it fades. It loses its color. She becomes a grainy photograph from a past life. You will eventually look back and actually feel gratitude. Gratitude that she left. Gratitude that she broke your heart. Because if she had stayed, you would have remained comfortable. You would have remained mediocre. Her rejection was the greatest gift you ever received because it forced you to resurrect the king sleeping inside you. Do not waste the pain. Channel it. Become undeniable. The world does not care about your excuses. The world only respects results. And this brings me to the mystery loop I promised you at the beginning. The specific biological override, the psychological switch that flips the dynamic and makes you the ghost that haunts her forever. It is called the phenomenon of post-traumatic growth, combined with absolute indifference. You see, her ego relies on the assumption that you will always be exactly where she left you. She expects you to be a slightly older, slightly sadder version of the guy she dumped. But when you undergo explosive, radical transformation, you shatter her reality. You prove that she was not the prize, she was the anchor weighing you down. And when a woman realizes that losing her was the catalyst for you becoming a multidimensional powerhouse, her biological hypergamy malfunctions. She realizes she threw away a diamond because it was covered in dirt. She will spend the rest of her life comparing every mediocre man she dates to the titan you became. She will see your success, your stoicism, your absolute lack of acknowledgement of her existence, and it will eat her alive. You do not need to seek revenge. Your unparalleled success and your total indifference are the most devastating revenge possible. But remember, by the time she realizes this, you will not care, because you will be standing on the summit of your own life, surrounded by people who value the king you have become, not the peasant you used to be. The fire did not burn you. The fire forged you. Now stop watching videos, put your phone down, and get to work.